Latino student body currently comprises 7 to 8% of the total population. This past year, our teacher received a grant to make a documentary, bringing to light the stories from our community. In order to do this, we interviewed students with various backgrounds from Lincoln High School about being Latino and how it affects their lives. The following are the interviews we conducted. These are their stories.
Hi, I'm Marcos Sanchez Ayala and I'm Mexican. Over my 4 years, I've been most involved in music at Lincoln, especially in the percussion. Being Latino plays a pretty minimal role, I would say, in my day-to-day life. Both my parents are Hispanic and they speak Spanish at home. I respond in English most of the time. That's just kind of like the culture we have in my house, and same with my sister. We just speak in English, just like we were both raised here, and so we just feel more comfortable with English. We don't live near any family or any other. There's not really like a Latino presence in this part of Portland. Even though I don't practice a lot of like cultural traditions and things, I value what I've learned about my family and about like the culture from my family, you know.
Hola, mi nombre es Lorna Andrea Pérez Hurtado. Vengo de México, tengo un año viviendo aquí en Estados Unidos y estoy muy feliz de vivir aquí en Portland. Hi, my name is Lorna. I'm from Mexico. I'm living here for only a year and I'm so excited. Mis cosas favoritas de aquí de Lincoln, en sí me gusta todo. Me gusta las personas como son, los maestros como son, me encanta la escuela. Bueno, ahorita estoy tomando clases a nivel 7-8. Es muy divertido. Ahí es la única clase donde puedo escuchar como que toda la gente me está hablando en español y es muy divertido. Y me recuerda mucho a las clases de México, a las que tomaba. Pero el año pasado, cuando estaba de maestra de asistente, estaban hablando acerca de la inmigración y podía escuchar todo lo que pensaban los estudiantes americanos, y en sí me da como gusto que muchos piensan de una manera muy diferente que como los mexicanos o latinos o hispanohablantes piensan de nosotros. Nosotros pensamos más bien que ellos piensan que vienen como de pueblos, vienen de ranchos. Y en sí no todos somos iguales, muchos venimos de ciudad y pensamos muy diferentes. Es como aquí en Estados Unidos. Hicimos un nuevo grupo que se llama Mecha y estamos involucrando a los nuevos latinos que llegaron a Lincoln y es muy divertido, y ahorita estoy representando a Mecha. Las dificultades es de que yo llegué cuando ya estaba grande aquí a Estados Unidos. Y cuando llegamos dije, wow, es algo como, voy a empezar una etapa diferente. Una de las dificultades fue cómo comunicarme, cómo aprender el idioma mientras todas las clases eran en inglés. Y a veces era como de que, oye, necesito el traductor, o espera, no sé esta palabra, o espérame, o con señas o cosas así, pero a la vez era divertido porque así te das cuenta quiénes son tus verdaderos amigos o quiénes son interesados en buscar una amistad contigo. Estoy muy feliz con la decisión que había tomado. La tomé hace 1 año y 6 meses y fue de que dije, ok, voy a aprender muchas cosas nuevas y así es, o sea, así ha estado pasando todo este transcurso del año que he vivido aquí en Estados Unidos. Ser una latina en Lincoln es algo muy, muy importante porque en sí somos el 10% latinos o menos. Más que nada, mi orgullo de ser latina es muy grande.
Hi, I'm Xavier Rodriguez and I'm Latino. Hola, soy Javier Rodriguez y soy Latino. I used to live in Mexico, a small city called San Miguel de Allende. So I moved there to Lake Oswego and then went to Lincoln because of the Spanish immersion program. So my father, he came from Mexico into the United States and he didn't really have the best grades, and he got his GED in high school and he managed to get into Texas University. That's my biggest role model that shows that, you know, you can do something if you really put your mind to it. So my mom's American, so like I immersed myself really well in the American culture. So it's kind of been like not that hard, but at the same time I want to show my pride for my Latino culture because I really think it's a good thing to have that Latino culture. My raising was basically Latino about how to be etiquette, how to do things a certain way. It's definitely different to the American way of life, I would say. And speaking Spanish home, it's a big thing to keeping the Spanish up. English is great because it's basically the language of the world, of course, but you can go to so many countries with Spanish and connect with more people easily with Spanish.
Soy Jasneri Valenzuela y soy mitad mexicana y mitad hondureña. I'm Jasneri Valenzuela and I'm Mexican and Honduran. I've been at Lincoln for 3 years. Okay, so I'm a musician, so I'm in choir and orchestra, and I'm in LSU. And Lincoln is, stereotypically the white rich kid school. And I'm definitely not, I'm not white, I'm not in a rich family, so I don't really fit in the norm. I wouldn't change the attitude of other people towards Latinos. I'd change the attitude of Latinos at Lincoln, because I feel like we don't value our culture as much as we should, especially in an environment where other cultures are predominant more than ours. If we exposed ourselves more out into our community, Lincoln would definitely be a better place for Latinos. But I think it would be really cool to not just focus on Mexican culture, but other cultures too, because I'm half Mexican, but I'm also half Honduran. And there's other people that aren't even Mexican at all. They might be Guatemalan, Puerto Rican, or Puerto Riqueño, or there's so many different cultures, and they're really different from what we think, because it's not just a Lincoln thing, but an American thing, that when you see a Hispanic, oh, they're automatically Mexican and they don't speak Spanish, they speak Mexican, and it's really annoying and frustrating.
My mom, it took her 17 days to get from Honduras to the United States. She got sent back once. She got caught by La Migra. She was in Texas the first time she made it across the border, and she was in a group with the coyote, and the coyote is basically the person who brings people across the border. The first time she was here, long story short, she either had to go with La Migra, which had found the group, or stay in the field where they were. She basically gave herself up, but lied about being Hondureña because she didn't want to be sent back to Honduras. So she said she was in Mexico, and she had her ID in her Bible, and they flipped through it, and it didn't fall out, luckily. So it's a really powerful story. I've heard her tell it so many times, and every time it's really moving. Like a few things that happened was the first few days when she was in Guatemala, she had saved up a lot of money for this trip because it cost a lot, and she wasn't going with a coyote at first. She was going by herself on bus, and they stole her money, the family she was staying with, and they lied about stealing her money, but I mean, there wasn't anybody else that could have taken it, so all the hard-worked money she had saved was gone like the first few days. So that was one of the first struggles. Other things that happened was that she was sold to a brothel. She escaped the day she was sold. She wasn't going to be a prostitute, but she was going to be the one that managed over them. Thank God she escaped. I think that a lot of people, when they talk about immigration, overlook that these people, they're not coming here because they want to take Americans' jobs. They're not coming here because they want to take over the world. They're coming here because they really are desperate for a change, and they're really desperate for, that American dream that they hear about. It seems that immigration is a very avoided topic in society, not just at school, but even when you're with other adults. I haven't had that many immigration discussions in class my 4 years. Like, even as a daughter of 2 immigrants, I feel like I don't know much about immigration as I should. That it's definitely a topic that we should bring up more in class, and that should be taught more, because it affects us all. Well, I've always wanted to try out to be princess since I was little. It meant a lot, especially because I'm a Latina at Lincoln, and
when people found out that I was the Rose Princess for Lincoln. Some people's reaction were like they were surprised and like, wait, what? You're from Lincoln?
Our 2014 Rose Festival Princess is Jasneri Valenzuela.
Like they weren't expecting a Latina to be representing Lincoln, and I think that just me being Latina and being Princess for Lincoln really shows that, I mean, there's more than just, you know, your typical gringos at Lincoln. I mean, there's much more diversity than people really think, and I think that I kind of took off the label of Lincoln for a little and really showed that we're more than what people think. We're more than just the West Side School. So.
We want to thank everyone who made this documentary possible and who helped highlight a vital part of the Lincoln community. To the students and teachers who were a part of our film, without you, we wouldn't have been able to capture the lives of these amazing students. With the establishment of MECHA, the strong student leadership, and the selflessness of the Lincoln staff, the celebration of Latino culture at Lincoln will carry on for years to come. So when I applied for this grant through Miss Gale, I really didn't know what I was getting into. It was kind of territory that I had never explored with different kinds of people that I had really never talked to. And I was kind of nervous about how our interactions were going to be, how they were going to perceive us, like coming in to film them and like learn about them. And it really turned out to be a very kind of life-changing experience, honestly, as cliche as that sounds. You know, I'd say that this has been one of the most special experiences of my high school career.
At first started out as kind of a way to improve my filmmaking skills, but as it went on, it was more of an opportunity to kind of use the documentary as an excuse to have conversations with kids I normally wouldn't at school. But this I thought was a cool way to learn just in our daily lives, or to be able to use those skills to connect with these students in a really positive way that would influence the environment in a positive way.
For me, the best part about working on this documentary was the chance to talk about something so personal and authentic with people who I would never otherwise really get to meet. The actual process of making the documentary too is so great because it makes people like consciously reflect on something and figure out their actual opinions on the issue. And for me, and I think everyone in our group, it was also really good to figure out how we felt about these things and how it was affecting us in our lives.
Making this documentary has been really eye-opening, especially because I'm not in Spanish immersion and I haven't learned about any of the issues that the Latino students at Lincoln have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. I've really enjoyed this opportunity, and it's been really interesting to learn about a different culture.
Through the process, I feel like I really genuinely made new friends. Like with Lorna and Jasneri, people I never really talked to before, I really feel like I have a friendship and I have a connection with them now, and that's really cool, and it makes me really grateful for having this opportunity, and I really wish I could do it all over again because it's been such an amazing experience.